Hello. Let's do a film review. I saw a film called Men. It was written and directed by Alex Garland. Now, Alex Garland, back in the day, was probably most famous for writing a book called The Beach, which they turned into a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I read The Beach when it was out. I read it on the train on the way to work. Those were the days. And he's been involved with many other movies. Was it Sunshine? He wrote the script for that. Was it 28 Days Later? I think he wrote that as well. More recently became a director, branched out into direction and writing. So Ex Machina was another one he did. Annihilation. And he did a TV show called Devs, which I quite enjoyed. Quite enjoyed Ex Machina too. Annihilation is alright, not too sure about it. And so we rock up with Men. Now, Men is a curious thing. I knew I wasn't going to like it when I saw the trailer to it. It stars Jessie Buckley as the lead character, Harper Marlowe. And she goes after a traumatic experience. Shall we talk spoilers? Yeah, I'm going to talk spoilers because I can't really talk about some of the themes without talking spoilers. The spoiler is men are evil. Men are evil. Oh, men are evil. Men are bad. Basically, we're going to roll out all the old tropes here. We're going to throw in some religious tropes. Adam and Eve. Temptation, tree of knowledge, the forbidden fruit. We're also going to pull in folk myth like the Green Man and the Sheila and Gig, fertility. These are fertility myths, and we're going to brew it all up into a rather, I don't know, was it scary? I don't know. Some bits were scary. But the reason I tuned in is because of the performance of Rory Kinnear, Roy Kinnear's son, Rory Kinnear, because it really is the Rory Kinnear show, because he plays a multitude of male characters in it. And again, all these characters are meant to be kind of archetypes, I guess, but they're all a bit odd, because men are a bit odd, aren't they? And they all have that kind of rapey feel about them, because men are evil. Remember that? But anyway, the film opens with Harper Marlowe, that's Jessie Buckley's husband, killing himself because, they're splitting up. He doesn't want her to leave, so he kills himself, throws himself out the window, and he's injured in a certain way, and that's important. So she goes off to clear her head to a village of Cotson in Hertfordshire. I didn't realise it was meant to be Hertfordshire. I thought it was more southwesterly direction. Hertfordshire's not that too far from here. And yeah, she's staying at this kind of country house she's renting. And things unravel there. She notices that all the men kind of look similar, and she's intimidated by, this naked man who keeps appearing, and it just goes on from there. Really, they ratchet up the tension because there's this kind of threat of rape. I guess it's a rape threat. But again, we also see the imagery of the Green Man and the Sheila and Gig carved on a font inside a church. Again, that's contradictory because you wouldn't get folk. It's very rare to get folk imagery inside a Christian church, so you're instantly thinking of, kind of Wicker Man and those kind of folk horror, stories. I mean, Jessie Buckley's good in it. I like her. I think she's a good actress, and so is Rory Kinnear. I think he's a great actor. I think he's good at doing a different characters, though he does come a little bit Dick Emery. Because I did say to Mrs. I wonder if he's going to be a bit Dick Emery, and it does. You do get the feeling of that. But again, if they weren't all played by him and they were played by, I don't know, different actors who just looked a bit similar, I don't know, they might have worked a bit better. But again, I don't think, because again, he's meant to be like an archetype, I guess. I guess, because it's men. Men are all the same. They all look the same, don't they? We're all interchangeable. And there is the culmination of this is she injures one of the men with a knife and splits his hand open. And it kind of mirrors the injury and the injury to his stomach, and that mirrors the injury to her boyfriend, or her husband, sorry. He throws himself out of the window and lands impaled on some railings, and it kind of mirrors, and I'm thinking, oh, I know where this is going. Now because there's spores, not spores, dandelion seeds, and she swallows one. I thought she was going to give birth to her own husband. I thought that was going to be the kicker. I thought that was going to be the big reveal, but it didn't quite go like that. For as it goes on, and she kills Rory Kinnear, because it's the Rory Kinnear show. Rory Kinnear begins to give birth to other Rory Kinnears, the various men that she's seen, and so it turns into Cronenbergian body horror, where he gives birth to himself over and over again. And then I said, wait a minute, it's gonna end up with him giving birth to her husband, who doesn't look like Rory Kinnear. That's where it goes wrong, because her husband doesn't look like Rory Kinnear. And if he had have looked like Rory Kinnear, I think the story would have made more sense, because he doesn't. But again, she asks him what he wants. He just wants her love, because men only want the love of a good woman, otherwise they become obsessive and a bit rapey. Well, I think that's what the story was about. And then I think it's her sister turns up after. Oh, it's, I don't know, it might be just a friend. I don't know if it's her sister or a friend. Turns up, and she's pregnant, and that's where you get the idea of pregnancy. See, and you wonder if it's a bit of a dream, because all the bodies are gone, but there's a bloody trail. And you bring in that trope of the neurotic woman again. That really irritates me in horror and in a lot of films where, when a woman, they ratchet up the tension, she becomes a bit kind of neurotic and a little bit jumpy and a little bit, and, not all women are like that. Some are calm and collected. Think of, Ripley from Alien or something. It holds herself together. And the trope of the neurotic woman becomes, a little bit tiresome, a little bit boring. So yeah, I thought it had a potential to be a good story, but I think you do need Rory Kinnear to play the husband for it to pay off at the end, and also the Rory Kinnears need to look sufficiently different. Though the Rory Kinnear boy is, quite creepy. But yeah, I kind of get it, and it's a bit on the nose. Alex Garland has promised us this might be his last movie, which is a shame, really, because I didn't mind Ex Machina, which is all about artificial intelligence and robots, or androids. And again, I really do enjoy the kind of folk horror movie, so I was kind of let down by that. But it really did have potential. And it also had a potential, to talk about toxic masculinity, or its real title, masculinity. It really had a chance to talk about that and the problems with it. But again, I think, it's that thing of men being archetypes and they all look the same. Again, if you applied it to, something like race, it would come across as incredibly racist. So I kind of understand what he was getting at, but again, because I guess Rory Kinnear is a white, middle-aged, middle-class man, you can do what you want with him and he's not going to complain. And I wonder if he actually sat and read the script and goes, oh yeah, I'm naked in it for a fair bit and I end up giving birth to myself several times, I'll do it. It's a bit of a peculiar thing. But yeah, give it a watch, especially for the body horror section at the end. It's well worth it for that, because it's gruesome and well done. But I think where it falls down is the casting of the husband. I think that's it. It needed to be Rory Kinnear. Rory Kinnear needed to play all the men, and like I say, the husband isn't played by Rory Kinnear. It's played by an actor called Papa Essendu. And again, it's not nothing wrong with his performance. I just, it kind of leaves it a bit. It'd be more creepy if she turned up a village that filled with men that looked like her dead husband. Or Papa Essendu could have played all the men, if you know what I mean. They needed to do one or the other. And I think that's where the film falls down, especially as Rory Kinnear gives birth to a husband at the end. But if you see it, you'd understand my criticisms of it. But yeah, an interesting idea, woefully brought to climax, like Rory Kinnear birthing himself a number of times. But remember, us men, we're all just the same, and that is the moral of the story, I think. And all we want is the love of a good woman. Alright then. Men bad. Woman good. And that's my review of Men. Directed and written by Alex Garland. And produced by Andrew MacDonald, funny enough. Again, who's involved with The Beach and Shallow Grave, Trainspotting, 28 Days Later. Part of that stable of filmmakers. Give it a go, but I thought some of the imagery and some of the themes were a little bit on the nose. Subtle, it ain't. We don't deal with subtlety anymore. But it wasn't, I don't know. I think I figured out the problem whilst doing the review. And that is Rory Kinnear should have played all the male roles. And I think Jessie Buckley should have played all the female roles. There's only like 2 female roles in it. So yeah, I think that would have been more interesting then. I think it would have worked a bit better. Anyway, thank you for watching. Men, what are we like, eh? And that's the end of that. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say, and that is ta-da!